Today's lesson is on graphing vertical and horizontal lines. Now, the first example is x equals -3. We have, in this case, if we have x equals -3, that means that no matter what ordered pair I write down, I'm fixed on -3 as the x value. I can choose anything for y because there is no y. There's no y in this equation. So therefore, I could have infinitely many points by choosing different y values. But always, I will have -3. Well, look, -3, 0, -3, -3. Let's just look at what that does to the graph. -3, -0, -3, -3, and I've got -3, +3. So as you can see already, what we're going to have is a vertical line going through the point -3, 0. And this is labeled as x equals -3. That's the graph of x equals -3. So no matter what I choose for the x value, I could have x equals -1. That would be a line. I'll do it in a different color. X equals -1 is going to be right here, right at that point, and I'm going to draw a line going through -1. I'm always going to get a vertical line when I have x equals something. X equals -1. Let's look at a different, even one more. Let's try x equals a positive. X equals +5. So x equals +5. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm right through here. I'm going to draw a line, a vertical line, because I know that represents all of these values where x equals 5. This is x, and that's y. 5, 0, 5, -1, 5, -5, 5, +5. All of those values are going to be represented by this line, x equals 5. Again, it's vertical. You're always going to get a vertical line when you have x equals something and no y value. I'm sure you want to know now what happens when we have y equals to something. So let's try that. Y equals 2, for instance. Take y equals 2. Well, y equals 2 is going to be a little bit of a different case. And if you go ahead and plot x, y on a table, we're going to always have 2 for our value for y. If we always have 2 for y, we can put anything in for x, and we're going to get 2 for y. So now, how does that look on a graph? I'm going to use this freehand. This is my y-axis. This is my x-axis. And I've got 0, 2, 0 for x, 2 for y. I've got -3, 2. And what's happening here is we are getting a 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. What's happening here is we're getting a line that goes horizontally through y equals 2. And we're going to get this. And this is the graph of y equals 2. So similarly, if we pick, say, y equals -2, I'll pick a different color. And again, we're going to get the same idea. So y equals -2. We'll put a little table together. And no matter what I choose for x, I'm going to get y is -2. This is always going to be this way. And I'm going to end up with a graph that's going to have, I'm not going to do it quickly, 1, 2, -3. And I'm going to draw freehand a line that goes through there. And this is the line y equals -3. So there you have it. The two basic types of vertical and horizontal lines. You just have to remember that vertical lines are x equals -3, which is a little bit counterintuitive in a way, because you know of the x axis as being a right-left movement, but yet the line x equals -3 is straight up and down. And the reason for that is because the y value can vary. The x value is fixed. One of the best ways to remember this is not to remember it by a trick of memory, but by actually plotting out a table every time you do this. It takes a couple seconds to do it, and when you do that, when you plot out a table, then you quickly remember, oh yeah, my x value is fixed and my y value changes. I just put that down on the graph. I'm not depending on a memory trick at all. I'm actually laying something down that makes sense to me, and then I'm getting that. Eventually, if you do enough of them, you'll just remember that the x equals a number lines are always going to be vertical, and that the y equals something lines are always going to be horizontal. Any questions?